Deacon Sakari, we back at it like a crack addict. They done let them bruise in the dough in this wicked industry to shine the light on. They done let them bruise in the dough. Oh shit. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. We ain't going nowhere. Hebrews. They done let them bruise in the dough. They done let them bruise in the dough. Look, Joe Biden need the free dark. Lo, the hell is wrong with dude? No Alamolek, but I got perfect vision in the dark. I'm a lexicon, I'm a megalodon, all my verses ripping them apart. Mosaic law, what the church is missing, it's the worst religion from the start. In my soul, where the word is written out, that circumcision of the heart. I'm rocking my fringes, I'm in Seattle, rocking like Hendrix. No industry gimmicks, you rappers the finish, I'm kicking it off the hinges. Throwing stones like you sinless till you get the finish. You should've repented in a minute, this truth is endless. They loving the image, I know what happened to Kim. I keep my pencil on point, no sharpener. Used to weigh pounds of troll, I lay down the flow like carpenters. She causing division in the sisterhood, I'm marking on. I'm preparing the way for the harvester, I'm a harbinger. Cops hop out, we bail on them. Leviticus, I like my fish with scales on them. Ask Chief Ephraim, he could vouch. We be putting in the work while you sitting on the couch. Camp haters quiet as a mouse. Yeah, already shout out to my brother Austin Trout. Just as a reminder if there's doubt, I wear every single fringe even when I'm in the house. Get all your truth music at deaconsakari.com. That's 9 albums. We even got a couple free for y'all. Support the cause, y'all. I see a lot of haters. I knew it would come with it. Rap game full of evil and sin, and I don't want none of it. They bite my style. They just want to take it and run with it. Sakari Varsity Online Academy, specializing in Hebrew apologetics. Come learn how to defend the gospel. Email sakariseattle@gmail.com. Limited registration. Sakari.
We are the children of the one Yahweh.
The chosen.
Ye are the chosen of the one Yahweh. And he has given his laws to us. Now everything belongs to us. We above all nations, all nations.
What?
Above all nations, all nations.
Yeah.
We are the chosen of the one Yahweh. Above all nations.
We above. We finally back on. Children's Bibles with black and brown images. I know a lot of y'all been waiting. A lot of people on back order. We still got some though. Put your order in before it's too late. I'm gonna start having them regularly, Lord willing. But get it in, let's go. Hit me up, DM. Even your head wrap, stay dipped, stay brewed dripping. All right, deaconsakari.com. All right, y'all, go to czyn.network. czyn.network. We done with Patreon. No more Patreon. czyn.network. You're going to get videos too hot for YouTube or early releases. So go sign up. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Not only do you get Deacon Sakari's content, you get Guerrilla Hebrew content, Hasad content, other camps putting their content on this platform. We need our own app, so sign up using promo code Deacon Sakari. czyn.network. It's our own app, our own platform. The white man can no longer subvert or hide or try to censor this truth. So sign up and get this heat. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. Promo code Deacon Sakari. CZYN. Praises. Get your commercial played here. Contact sakariseattle@gmail.com. Introducing Super Thanks. YouTube has now added a feature where you can donate if you missed the live show by just clicking the heart button with the thanks on it. It'll be on every video. It'll highlight your comment to bring more attention to your statement. So if it's on your heart, super thanks. Shalom. Have you reached your marital ceiling? Are you experiencing irreconcilable differences, feeling alone with no Israelites near you? We are now offering individual and marriage counseling. We also offer family therapy, career counseling, and trauma therapy. Contact the Deacon Sakari at 442-341-1308. Shalom. Popping mollies and putting powder in your nostrils. We be in the trenches, needles under benches. We be giving them the gospel. I keep 12 Sakari members with me. We be moving like apostles. True. Some distance is dead traps, hair rasp, but you still a thought though. The church don't even know the truth. They can even tell you an Israelite. The Arabs selling you all the switches and the malt liquor are the Ishmaelites. You can show a nigga slave ships in the Bible, still won't get it right. Until the time's out, then a nigga gotta find out what them missiles like.
Man. All right. So, first and foremost, of course, I want to give all praise to the Heavenly Father, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, and the name of his only begotten Son, who I'm sure Terrence and everybody else calls Jesus, but his real name was a Hebrew name, Yahweh Shai. So this is Terrence and I's first time having a discussion. I think on the phone. I think we texted back and forth a little bit. No.
Yeah, that's correct. Yo, just so you know, real quick, if you hear like a little ding sound in the background, like I said, I'm at work.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is definitely the first time we're having a phone conversation.
Yeah, and so the way that I believe that this came about is you saw, I don't remember which video I posted, but
I saw 2 videos you posted, specifically the joint dealing with the pastor. You did like a first joint and then like a follow-up.
Right. And I don't remember exactly what you said, but I think it was peaceful. You disagreed with some of what we taught. And so I said, you know what, how about we just reach out and we can have a conversation about it. And so I think via DM on Facebook, we talked about it a little bit, but
yeah,
now we're able to, at least have a more fruitful discussion, seeing as how, we're able to actually communicate. So
facts.
One thing I definitely want to say before we get started is, regardless of, I'm sure you're passionate about what you believe, as am I, how animated you or I may get. None of this, there's no malice in my heart towards you at all, brother.
Likewise.
And I understand that. So I just want to get that out the way and just kind of set that as the preface. So this is all just in love. You did post something that I found extremely disturbing. Not the picture. That's just all fun and games, whatever, right? But I asked you a question, which was, when did West Africans come into contact with Christianity? Mm-hmm. And you said you weren't aware, and that's okay. And I let you know when we came into contact with Christianity. And we came into contact with Christianity late 14th, 15th, or 15th, 16th century. And we were also put in slavery at the exact same time. The missionaries came over and then put us in slavery. And then it gave the name of one of the missionaries, the Portuguese one. And you said, thank God.
Yeah, I was being mostly facetious in that. Trying to get a response out of you. We can delve into that in a second, so I can be specific as to what I meant by what I said, because that'll be good to distinguish between what you think I mean versus what I actually did mean. But I did want to say too, though, man, I didn't disagree much with what you said concerning the pastor. I was actually laughing because I thought it was funny. I thought you went for low picking fruit, for sure. I would 100% agree with you. The son should not be in the ministry, but that's another thing. I definitely wanted to tell you that, you did a good job with regard to your respect in the matter, and the rebuttal response, especially when you showed exactly where he said certain things and you disproved it via the video. So kind of wanted to get that out there. But now specifically with regard to the slavery topic and Christianity in Africa and all that, if you don't mind me asking, bro, I'm gonna have to have you to cite some sources for me. Like, where are you getting this information?
Okay, I can pull it up.
What's up, bro? This is the Deacon. I got a question too.
When
you say low hanging fruit, or would you be high hanging fruit?
That's what I was gonna ask too. But
no. I'm a run of the mill Christian, which is simply a Christian. But I wouldn't. As a Christian, I wouldn't consider son a Christian. I consider him a prosperity teacher who was taking people's money.
Well, what's your credentials as far as, like, from what you studied, your body of work, or?
Yeah, so like I said again, I'm a run-of-the-mill Christian. If I were to, I guess, talk about specifics as to what I studied, like my erudition and that type of thing, I have studied seminary courses, so I'm sure we'll get into a lot of specifics in a second. But I don't consider myself anything other than a Christian, a slave of Jesus Christ, man.
Okay. You're not a slave to God the Father?
When I say Jesus Christ, I mean God. I'm referencing. Hold on one second. This work again. I'm just gonna put that on pause for a sec. All right, boom. So when I say Jesus, man, he is the invisible. He's the visible image of the invisible Father. I don't think he's the Father, but I certainly think he and the Father is one as far as essence and purpose and all of that. But when I say him, I mean all three members within the Trinity.
So when you say when we hear you say Jesus throughout this broadcast, you're talking about three people.
No, I'm talking about. So it depends on the context. Context will define terms and meanings, right? And so if I say Jesus and I'm specifically talking about the second person in the Trinity, yeah, then I'm talking about him. If I say God, then it could, depending on the context.
How do we know Jesus is the second in command? How do we know Jesus is the second in command of the Godhead?
I didn't say second in command. There's no hierarchy.
Second person.
Yeah, second person. That's a good question, I suppose. He's the second person in the Trinity because he, how can I put this in simple terms? He in himself shares co-equally all the attributes of the Father. You name it, creation, forgiveness.
One of the attributes is being all-knowing. Is Jesus all-knowing?
It's a good question. So when we talk about Jesus, we talk about are you talking about his human side? There's a term we use called the hypostatic union. Never heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So with regard to that, you have to differentiate. Are you talking about Jesus as in his humanity, the 100% man that even his own brothers didn't know who he was, or are you talking about the deity of Jesus? So I have to ask specifics when I deal, with you, just to make sure.
When he came as a man, on the scene as a man,
was
he all?
No, in his humanity, no. In his humanity, no.
Okay.
Second, Philippians says he laid aside the attributes of God. Never stopped being God, but now before I even go on to express what I'm talking about here, I need to say too, we're talking about some things that I don't know if it's new for you or what, but just hear me in the context of what I'm saying. I have to ask that because it's going to get hairy, I'm sure. But Jesus, with regard to his humanity now, didn't know everything. He himself said, as of the time of his coming return, for example, no one knows but the Father in heaven alone. I would argue later he did when he received back his divinity par John 17, when he was praying in the garden there. We can get into that later. But yeah, that's a little short answer for that.
So just to kind of, unless Deacon, you had something you were going to say.
No, I think if we should go back to the original question.
Yeah.
I wanted
to. And I got the source for the brother Terrence too. But for the record, then, are you stating then for 33 years, which is the approximate lifespan of Jesus, that for 33 years, the all-knowing God, at least one member of the all-knowing Godhead was not all-knowing?
In his humanity. I got to be specific again. In his humanity.
And so, in his incarnation.
In some kind of paradoxical way, if I could put it that way. In his humanity, specifically in his humanity, he was not all-knowing, yes.
And in his humanity, he was both fully man and fully God, right?
I'm sorry, what?
What in his humanity, in his incarnation, was he both fully man and fully God?
So I'll make a distinction in his incarnation, yes, but not in his humanity. In his humanity, he was 100% man, such that, I'll put it this way, he was 100% man, such that if you were to hear that he was God, or somebody were to claim that he were God during the time he walked, they would have considered that foolish. And yet he was 100% God, in such that if somebody were to say he is 100% man, that too would sound foolish. So I'm harmonizing both.
That's like you said, it's a paradox. It's a contradiction.
Yeah, it's not a contradiction. Contradiction and paradox is not exclusive.
Not true. They're not necessarily the same, but you're trying to masquerade a paradox or a contradiction by using a word like paradox. But that's fine. I want to get to the original.
No, I can use Bible scriptures to kind of prove my point. You can't just make a claim without kind of substantiating that. But go ahead.
Okay, I want to get to because you wanted a source on that thing that I sent you.
Yeah, like a first source, like not some source that came in the 1900s or something like this. I need something like at the time written from those people, kind of verified with the people living at that time. those kind of
Okay, well, I had just one of several books that were sourced, but I guess I'd have to find another one.
Yeah, so let me ask you. So when I talk about not secondary sources, that's easy.
Mm.
I could write a
You
secondary
want a
source.
primary source then?
Correct. Those are the things we use in academia to actually validate historical events. So
Okay, not an issue. Let me go ahead and see if I can find I think this guy had a journal, so I'll try to find his journal.
thank you.
No issue. So there's two. Before I get to that, there was two Portuguese explorers, Henry the Navigator and Diogo Siao. Right, these are two Portuguese explorers that came from Portugal to West Africa. And so, like I said, I got to find probably one of their journals. Just give me a second.
Yeah, and again, I'm not looking. You know what a primary source is? It's not a journal. It's somebody during that time validating the writings of that person.
That would be a journal. Would be a primary source.
No, it would not.
I mean, the journals of those men themselves would be a primary source.
No, it would have to be validated by somebody during that time in order for it to actually be accounted primary.
No, it would not. Primary source is one eyewitness, either accounts or witness would be a primary source. But let me find.
No, that's not the whole definition of a primary source. Correct me on this. Google it, I suppose. But no, a primary source for it to be so fully is to be validated. So let's say we're in 2023. We're writing some historical events, and
I'm not saying that he can just make these claims and now it's a primary. I understand it has to be validated.
Okay, good.
Once validated, it is a primary source.
Yeah, once it's validated by somebody, that's what I'm saying of that time. Yeah,
got you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. What are some primary sources on Mr. Let's see. Diogo Siao, Portuguese navigator and explorer. Okay.
And is there like a place you could shoot a link in here, wherever you found it, so I can check it out later? I would love to read up on it.
Let's see. Matter of fact, this should have the sources right here. All right, boom. Okay, what is the source right? One second. All right. Okay, so here's a few sources. It's the voyages of Diogo. Yeah, I'm about to right here.
Thanks.
I'm about to send it to myself, then I can send it to you.
All right, bet.
All right.
My bad. I had to step away. Y'all good? Y'all straight?
Yeah, he just wanted the source on what I was talking about, so I'll go ahead and send it to him.
Okay, I'm gonna go back on mute.
This is just one source, and so I just sent it to myself. Now I'm gonna post it in the chat. All right. Okay, and let me copy it. All right, you see it in the chat?
Actually, no. Let me make sure.
There you go. Now it should be there now.
Got you. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. So, in the post, I said I don't think you seem to understand. I said, show me when and where West Africans were introduced to Christianity, and then you said it must have been sometime after the man who helped Jesus carry the cross went home. And I pointed out that was in Israel. West Africa is 3,000, depending on which part, miles away. So that's not an answer. So then you said you don't know. Okay. West Africans were introduced to Christianity.
Hold on. I want to add that guy who helped the Messiah carry the cross. You do know that they say he was African, right? So before certain Africans even got to Africa, for example, those Palestinians, they're not the real Palestinians. The word Palestine goes back to Philistine. Those are Hamites. Those Palestinians over there are Arabs. They're Ishmaelites, and they know that. So all around Israel were what you would consider Black Africans until they got expelled by certain Arab and certain white people. But there's always still been a small remnant and litters of them over there. Even to this day, you'll see some so-called African Palestinians or African Yemenis or
Well,
Lebanon.
that guy in the Bible was not that carried Jesus' cross. And by the way, I have to say again, my response to you was sort of tongue in cheek. I was
Yeah, no
being
problem.
facetious there.
I just wanted to bring that out
I'm talking
just
to
because
Hasad.
that's a good historical point for not just us, for people who are going to watch this, that the dude who carried the cross was in fact African, but that doesn't mean he was from Africa, because certain Africans originated around the Israelite territory.
So how do you know he wasn't one of the Africans that we're talking about now?
Because he was more than likely indigenous to the land because of the history of the land. Now, I
Are you
can't
certain
prove
about
that.
that? Because you said more than likely. What
Yeah,
sources do
I
you have
can't.
to
I can't
validate?
prove that. I can't prove that 100%. Neither could you
Of
prove
course,
that
of course. All I'm saying
either.
is
But
African.
I
Yeah, I'm
think
not
I would
talking
have
about.
a better. I think I would have a better case, being that we shared the land with the Canaanites. Those are Hamites. We shared the land with the Philistines. That's Palestine. We shared the land with the Girgash, the 7 nations of the Canaanites. So I think that would
I think it's
hold some
good that you
credence
were
to my
honest and
my
said,
viewpoint.
yeah, no, I think it was excellent that you said we neither of us could know for sure if he was in fact the kind of Africans we're discussing. And because of that, I think it's a moot point to go either way.
Well, I mean, he's Simon of Cyrene.
Right.
Cyrene is a Roman province over so that's not near West Africa. So you'd be hard pressed to even attempt to prove that he's from or.
People didn't travel back then.
I'm not saying people didn't travel, but you would have to give a good explanation on how this man was from 3,000 miles away at that time.
But either way, he said
It
it
was a
talking
port city.
shit.
People traveled all the time.
That's
But
fine.
we're arguing a stupid point because he said he was just talking shit anyway. So let's just keep
Oh,
going.
no. Let me. Okay, so specificity is important here. So I was talking that in regards to my answer, not necessarily about the guys where he was from. We both agree that neither of us could prove, and that's wise to say that because that's simply true. Neither of us could prove that he was the Africans that you're trying to describe, and I can't prove that he wasn't, or rather vice versa. And so because of that, it's a moot point. No one's
Well, but if we're gonna say
that's not gonna happen. Like
if we're gonna say who has more evidence to state their position, then it would
that would be
us.
conjecture on your part. But continue. Sorry.
No, it said the man's from Cyrene. Did it say the man's from West Africa?
So he said it was in Cyrene, and people didn't travel.
People did travel, but did it say it was from West Africa? Or
So
did
that's
it
my
say it was
point.
from
That's my point.
Cyrene?
That's why it's a moot point. So every time you bring up a point, we still don't know his ethnicity, where he was from exactly. So we know he was from Cyrene. He lived there. He could have traveled. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, because I think I want to get to the meat and potatoes of the discussion.
Right.
And I want to allow you a chance to explain what you meant. So do you thank God for slavery?
No, I said that unequivocally. No.
Okay.
What I meant by you asked me, are you saying slavery was a good thing? No, not at all.
Why didn't you say that?
You did. I could pull up the post. Or did I read it wrong?
No, I didn't say that. I said, so are you thanking God for slavery?
Okay, well, I took it the same way. No, I don't thank God for slavery. I thank God for the good that come out of anything. You're a Bible man, I suppose, and the Bible says all things work together for the good to those who love God. Romans 8:28. You're a Bible man, so you know that God uses a lot of hard things to bring about good. For case in point, I'm thinking about a specific slavery now with Joseph. Joseph was sold into slavery. That wasn't good. His brothers did a bad thing, a wicked thing, in fact. Then he was put into prison, also a wicked thing because he was righteous. He didn't do anything wrong. Shorty lied on him. But all that at the end of the story. Let me finish, B. At the end of the story.
What good did it do? I want to know what good did slavery do?
Hold on, let me finish my story, son. Can I finish? And then you
can but I want you to I'm gonna let you finish.
Making a parallel.
We want to know specifically our slavery, not what happened with Joseph or somebody
my
else.
greater point in bringing up Joseph was that God is big enough to use the worst of situations to bring about some good. Would you agree with that?
Yes. So we want you to demonstrate that in our case.
Yeah, the good.
Yeah, the good.
So what you saying?
We want you to demonstrate the good, how slavery was good for Black people.
Yeah, chattel slavery.
I never said slavery was good.
So we got to get past some good came out of it. Came out of chattel slavery.
Be specific, because people will listen to this, and I want them to see you as honest, right? And I think you're honest, and I think you want to be honest. So let's be specific in our conversation, in our speech. So we both agree, Deacon. I think you said you agree with me that God is big enough to bring about the best, to bring about good situations out of the most heinous situations. Agree? Yes. Okay, good. Now, having said that, One of the good things I think, certainly as a Christian, that God brought about using the wickedness of slavery was that many people came to know Jesus Christ.
Oh, which Jesus Christ?
That's a good question. Yeah, we definitely have a different Jesus for sure. Yeah, the Jesus Christ. I think I would argue from the Bible, the true biblical Jesus Christ, who describes himself to be Yahweh.
Sir, the slave masters came over here and gave us a white Christian that if we didn't bow to, we would be killed. So you thankful that they came and gave us that?
Say what now?
The slave masters came over here. The colonizers came over here, stole us from West Africa, and came over brought us over here and enslaved both us and the indigenous people of the Americas and gave us a white Jesus to bow down to. And if we didn't, then they would kill us. So you're saying some good that came out of our slavery and genocide was the white Jesus that they gave us?
No, I didn't say that at all. So don't put words in my mouth. Again, I want the people hearing this conversation later to hear you as honest and not putting words in my mouth.
They're going to hear exactly.
Good,
I can play this on mute. I can play this video. Let me tell you something, sir. This audience, this 21st century audience of Israelites, they're not okay with the social injustices, and the wool has been pulled over their eyes, have been taken off of the scales have been taken off of their eyes, and they see the white supremacy and the racial stratification and the institutionalized racism. And I could put my voice on mute and just play your part of this video, and they're gonna know what you're saying, sir.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna know what I'm saying if you narrate my voice for me. So let me please finish.
Which Jesus did they give us?
So again, let me finish what I'm saying. And I like to do some foundational work because I don't want you to be talking over me, one. And then two, I want to be able to communicate what I'm saying and meaning what I mean by what I say. So to go back, we both agree that God is big enough to use to bring about good through the worst of situation. You said that. I fully agree. You asked me specifically what good came out of it. I said Jesus. I never said anything about a white Jesus because I don't think Jesus is white.
But that's what they gave us, sir.
Well, dude, again, I'm talking about the biblical Jesus. I don't, and to be fair, I don't put any much difference between, let's say, your group and the KKK, who both claim to know Jesus.
So we've killed thousands of white people.
On, yeah?
We've killed thousands of white people. Like the KKK.
I didn't say that.
We bombed the white. Did we bomb a white church and kill 4?
Bro, I didn't even say that. So you bugging right now, son? Come on.
Wait, did you compare us to the KKK?
In specific ways, yes, but not that way.
In what way?
Than one way. There's more than one way somebody could be different and still be.
Okay, and tell us in which way we're like the KKK.
Good question. Now you're asking specifics. Specifics are good in a conversation. Here's the way in which I'm saying. You both have a false Jesus.
A false Jesus.
Yes.
Okay, what makes our Jesus false?
It's not biblical.
What do we teach about Jesus that makes him false?
That he's not God. He's not the Almighty One. That's one.
That he's not the Almighty One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why does he say? Do we teach that Jesus is not the one true God? Do you believe Jesus is the one true God?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to John 17.
Yeah, John 17:3. No God, the one true God, and Jesus Christ whom you sent. Yes, I know.
Okay, now watch this. John
17:3. Jesus Christ said, and this is eternal life.
Share my screen. Hold on, we're gonna read this.
I got it by heart, man.
We want the audience.
Jesus said, and that they may know the one true God.
Sir, I can read it.
Yes, I don't think you know how to exegete that, but continue, please.
Okay, so John chapter 17, verse 3. And this is life eternal, that we might know thee. Who's the thee here?
The one true God.
Who is speaking here?
Jesus.
So who is the thee that Jesus is speaking of?
The one true God.
Which is who?
The Father.
So who's the one true God?
The Father.
You just said it was Jesus.
And it is too. Here's why. Here's how you exegete that passage.
You're done.
No, I mean, come on, be fair. Let's use our brains. God gave you a brain. Here's how you use that verse. Jesus said some words in there that if he wasn't who he said he was, he could never say that. Pull up the passage again, please. Hello. All right, so I guess you're not going to pull up the passage. Jesus Christ said in John 3:17, and this is eternal life, that you know the one true God and Jesus Christ. If Jesus Christ wasn't if he wasn't the one true God along with the Father, he could never say those words. It would be blasphemous.
Really? So, oh my goodness. Terrence and Hasad. Is Hasad Terrence?
I'm sorry, what?
Terrence and Hasad. Is Hasad Terrence?
No.
Okay. The only true God and Jesus. Is Jesus the only true God?
Yes, but here's why I'm saying that. I suppose it's funny if you don't understand that, but I wouldn't laugh at you for not understanding.
Well, I'm not.
So,
It's not about laughing for not
so
understanding. It's
Terrence and
about
Hassan, to
about speaking what
know eternal life could never be. Terrence nor Hassan could say, and this is what life means or eternal life. To know Hassan, you could never say that.
that's not the point. The point
That
is
is the
Deacon
point.
asked,
That is my point. That is the point of
point
Jesus
is
is
Deacon
saying.
asked you who's the only true God.
Listen,
And,
bro, you're getting
and
stuck
Jesus,
on
out of
you're getting
Jesus' own
stuck on
mouth,
the word, the one true God. Look
out
at
of
the link
Jesus'
of
own
the
mouth,
word.
out of Jesus' own mouth, he said the Father is the only true
Yes,
God.
but
Right, and
he's not
that's just
negating himself
period.
and saying that
That's
because
just
he's
period.
linking it
So
together.
now that we'll let the people decide
Yeah, please. I mean, the people's going to
who
decide. Let me just
sounds
say this. Let
more
me just say this,
foolish,
like, so you
who
can understand
sounds
what I'm
foolish or
saying.
not.
Jesus
Give me
Christ
the
said,
next point. Give me
no,
the
no.
next
Before we get to
point.
the next point, let me say
Give me
my
the
part.
next point of how we teach a false Jesus. What's the
I want to
next
go back.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me. You can talk. I'll give you mad points, but let me go back on this. This is important because you got your part. Let me say my part. So Jesus Christ says, and this is eternal life. Name specifically, this is eternal life to know the one true God. You emphasize on those words, the one true God.
And
Jesus Christ could never say, and Jesus Christ to know eternal life alongside God, have it not be blasphemy if he weren't also the one true God.
No.
Read all of John 17 in the
Hold on.
consequence. Oh, let me
Hold on.
finish, bro. Yo,
Hold
son,
on. No,
is
but you
this going to be the
misquoted the
talk where you
verse.
just spoke over me the whole time?
Well, no, but we both.
So Hebrew
I just want
Israelites
to
just
say,
learn, just like not let people talk. I mean,
nah,
Hassan seems
listen.
stop
respectable,
being
bro.
soft, bro. Just
I'm
relax, bro.
putting myself on the chopping block as well. We
Yeah, but let me
both
finish my.
misquoted,
I don't mind
sir,
letting you talk, dog. I just want to finish my
sir,
like my
sir.
sentence. You cut
Okay,
me off every time, B.
hold on. I'm gonna have to mute you so you can listen. We both said the one true God. The text says the only true God. So I misquoted it and you misquoted it. We all three misquoted it. This adds more insult to injury and more credence to our point because Jesus is saying there is an only true God. And he wants us to know him and Jesus Christ, who that man sent. It's very clear. Jesus says there's only one true God, and that the only true God, wants us to know his son, Jesus Christ, who he sent.
Yeah.
It's very simple. So let me unmute you and then go ahead and respond, and then let's move on.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the chance to respond, and I'm sorry for getting passionate. Like Hassan said at the beginning, this is to occur because people are passionate about their beliefs. If I may ask, let me finish my sentence before you cut me off, though. So, good point. For the people hearing, I want you to understand that what Jesus Christ said in that statement there could never be said of anybody else. Can you imagine Jesus Christ, or even better, Michael the Archangel, or anybody else saying, this is eternal life, to know the one true God, the only true God, and also put themselves in the category to know it, that have that be eternal life? Unless Jesus Christ, and by the way, look at my comments in light of everything else Jesus said in John 17, talking about receiving the glory that he had with God. If he is not what I'm arguing for, namely the one true God too, in essence, everything he's saying, including that verse and the rest of the verse, is blasphemous. God doesn't share his glory. Jesus Christ says, give me the glory I had with you before the worlds were. Again, John 17. The specific text we're talking about, verse 3. And this is eternal life, that you know the one and only true God. Again, if he puts himself in that sentence and he is not equal to that one true God, that's blasphemous. That's my point. Continue.
Well, I mean, Christ also said that the one who sends is the greater than the one who is sent, and he just acknowledged, and he just acknowledged that the only true God is the one that sent him. So that was
Jesus Christ talked about being lesser in many ways. Yes,
so that debunks that. But
no, it doesn't debunk it. It just highlights the fact that there's a Trinity. But go ahead.
Well, who's the only look? All right, so now that we're on the point, because we want to get through all the reasons why we're like the KKK. This is good. He said we teach a false Jesus. So he said we teach that Jesus is not God. So we went to John 17:3. Now I want to ask him, who does the Bible say is the only wise God?
The Father in Colossians. It says actually a bunch of different places.
Okay.
Again, so let me do some groundwork because I don't think.
Hold on. Walk with me here.
Yeah, sure. But you asked me a question. May I walk?
Okay, but you said that it's the Father. So I just want to simply follow it up.
Yeah, well, I wasn't done. Deacon, the name is ironic. I don't know if because I
see, Mr. Theodore. When I'm talking a Hebrew Israelite, he's just gonna say, "You're a." You know what I mean? He's not going to say, "Oh,
people can say
Deacon." The
whatever they
name is
want, bro.
ironic.
This is America.
The name is ironic, Deacon. Don't do that. Those soft ass insults. If you want to disrespect me, just disrespect me. Because if I want to disrespect you, I'm gonna do it blatantly and hellaciously. You understand that? Don't throw them little pot shots at me.
So let me ask you a question with all these things that you're saying now. So you consider yourself a man of God talking like that?
I just said if I wanted to disrespect you, I would say you're. You
Yeah, I'm
wanted to
sure you would,
disrespect
bro.
me.
But that, you know what I mean?
You
That
wanted
means
to
you're probably
disrespect me,
projecting,
and you
son. Like,
said,
dog, you're projecting.
sir,
Don't project your
sir,
gayness on me, son. Come
Dog,
on, why you
dog,
wilding, bitch? Continue.
son. Let me ask you a question, right?
What
What's
up?
worse, me calling a bear from the forest to kill 42 children, or me saying, what's worse?
Say that again. You said a bear, what now?
Me calling a bear from the forest to kill 42 little children for calling me bald head, or me saying somebody's which one?
Oh, yours, because Elijah was righteous in his choice.
Oh, just because they called him baldy, he got to kill 42 kids?
Yeah, there's context around that, bro. First of all, it wasn't kids. It was about the little ones. What the Hebrew there is teenagers at best, young 20-year-olds, not little kids.
Okay,
but that's a moot point nonetheless.
Let's even entertain that. Somebody calls me baldy because my hairline is receding, and I get to go and call a bear from the forest to kill.
But you don't have that
42
power.
of them.
Obviously, God gave him the power, so whatever God does is right, bro.
Okay. So,
that's simple
so me calling somebody a and him killing 42 people for calling him baldy, mine's is worse. Okay, this is why we say Christians. This is why I say all Christians really act like homosexuals.
But I got a wife though, with a lovely, beautiful.
Well,
wife.
guess what? That's a bisexual. Go ahead, Hasad.
I want to get back to what he said on Facebook originally. So you said, thank God. Now, of course, again, for context, I'll let the audience know he was being facetious, right? So he's not literally apparently thanking God for our enslavement, but
definitely not.
Okay, well, that's I guess okay. But you also said,
would you rather I did? I mean, do you want Christians to say that? Because we don't.
I've been respectful towards you. Just relax.
My bad. Go ahead.
So you said, let me just get to it because I don't want to misquote you. Right. You said, thank God. Imagine being left to make up your own false religion and walk in darkness your whole life. And then you quoted Romans 8:28, your point about all things work for the good of those who love God. So are you saying that had not white people raped, robbed, murdered, and oppressed, burned alive, lynched men, women, and children, that we would still, basically, we would be without God?
You tell me. You believe that?
I'm asking you, sir. No, I'm asking you.
Yeah, so I believe the same as you. So this is good. I think these are great questions because I think let me answer the question, bro.
I promise you, I'll allow you to answer, but can you answer with a yes or no and then expound?
No question deserves a yes or no. People needs to expound before, because I don't want you to take a sound bite. I'm careful of that. I don't want you to
directly answer the question with a.
So ask the question again.
Okay. So are you saying then with your statement right there that had not white people raped, robbed, murdered, and oppressed us, lynched children, hung us from trees, burned us alive, performed human experiments on us, sold us like chattel, had not that taken place to us, that black people in West Africa would be without God and doomed?
When you say black people in West Africa, are you specifically meaning the Hebrews?
I'm specifically talking to our ancestors in West Africa.
So is Hebrews or no?
Hebrews
or Gentiles?
People who are victims of the transatlantic slave trade.
So Hebrews or Gentiles?
Again, I just said people who are victims of the.
I know. I want to put a name on these people, Hebrews or Gentiles.
It doesn't matter what name you put on it. It doesn't matter what name you put on it.
People, okay, because the reason why I'm asking,
brother Terrence, the victims of the transatlantic slave trade, our ancestors. Let's not play a game. You know exactly.
I'm just wanting to be specific, please.
Okay, that's
the reason why I'm asking is because, and so just to make sure I heard your question, you're saying, had these people not come and did these evil, wicked atrocities, they would have been walking in darkness.
I'm asking you.
Right. Yeah. So I'm saying unless God revealed himself, just like he did in the Old Testament with the Hebrews, they were, for example, Moses went away for a little while. They bugged out and they did crazy stuff. So my answer is not that slavery is good. My answer is that slavery is wicked. No, I got to answer this way because I don't want you to misquote me. I got to answer this way because I don't want you to lie on me.
I promise you, I want to let you answer. Like, I really do, bro. I'm not even trying to be like funny. I want to let you give an answer because I want to have.
Okay, but this is my answer though. So my answer is trying to be as biblical as I can. Please hear me. All right. And if you want me to reiterate with specifics in a second,
here's what I'm gonna do, Terrence. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you. I'm going to give you 1 minute uninterrupted to answer
Thank
that
you.
question. I won't say nothing, but you
Okay.
better answer the damn question. Go ahead.
Thank you, bro, and I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
So here's my answer to that question. Slavery is wicked and evil, and God hates it. People are also wicked and evil, Jews and Gentiles alike. In the Old Testament, the Jews walked in darkness until light came into them. God chose prophets. One of the prophets was Moses. Later on, they went back to doing wicked stuff again. God brought about slavery, the Chaldeans, all different kinds of slavery. The slavery was not right. God used it as a means to chastise his people. It was evil, and then he punished the people who did it, showing that the act itself was evil. My answer then, therefore, is by saying what I just said, saying what I just did, was showing you that God, Yahweh in the Bible, oftentimes uses evil events to chastise his people. The act is not good. Slavery is not good. But what came about through it, the awakening of God's people repentance, that part's good.
Okay,
That's my
so
answer.
that's your answer. Now, for the record, you did not answer my question directly. That's all right, because you
I thought
said
that was very direct.
it was very indirect, and everyone's going to see how indirect it
No, I
was.
thought the question was nonsensical, and so I tried to answer as best I
Not a
can. But good for
nonsensical
you.
question, and I'm going to hold you to answering it because you said you would. But you said, so are you insinuating that God chastised West Africans, and that was why we were enslaved?
If the West Africans were Hebrews, yeah.
So you believe, do you believe West Africans are Hebrews?
Yeah, I don't discount West Africans being Hebrews at all. I believe Hebrews was spread about throughout the whole earth.
So you identify, are you a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade?
I think so.
Okay, so are you identifying yourself as an Israelite, a descendant of the ancient Israelites?
Good question. This is what, again, this is why there's an overlap between Christianity and your religion, and that's why I ask specific questions. Because when we talk about Israelite, what are you talking about? You're talking about descendants of the flesh or true Israelites?
Like I said, brother, physical descendants.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. If you're talking about just physical on that level, sure, absolutely.
Okay, so you believe that we are the Israelites then, so-called black
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, I'm never doubted.
For the record, I don't subscribe to the belief that you can just believe and now you are a spiritual Israelite. So that's a separate conversation. But the reason why I say that is just so you know that every time I mention the word Israelite, I am referring to the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Good. Okay? I'm glad you said that. This, again, not to be like get on your nerves or anything. This is why specifically I'm asking these questions and answering the way in which I did, because you just said something that was really good. I assume that's why I'm asking for specifics. When you talk about Israel, I differentiate between spiritual and natural, right? So if you're saying you're speaking specifically on a natural level, sure. Amen. Yes.
Okay. So we are the Israelites. Cool. So what did black people in West Africa do to deserve to be enslaved?
You tell me. You're a Hebrew Israelite.
Well, I'm asking you, brother. See, don't do that, brother. I'm asking.
Okay. No, you're right. Again, I can't help but be facetious. I like to laugh. According to the Bible, they disobey God, specifically in regards to disobeying His laws.
Okay, so we have to keep the laws then.
In what for what? What are you saying? Like, finish the sentence.
I mean exactly what I asked. So you're saying we have to keep the laws then?
Keep the laws for what? Like to be saved or what? I don't know what you mean.
Do the Israelites have to keep the laws to not get punished from God?
So I'm going to make a differentiation. You're talking about
it's a yes or no question, brother.
No, it's not.
For example, Terrence, do you have to believe in Jesus in order to get saved?
Yes.
Okay, see how easy that was? Now, again, let's do the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you have to keep the laws to not be punished by God?
So as a Christian, no.
Okay, as the Israelites.
Okay, my bad. Again, you're talking to a Christian here who believes that he's a descendant of a natural Israel, but I don't put no emphasis on the flesh. But go ahead. Sorry, that's why I asked for specificity.
Do the Israelites need to believe? Sorry, do the Israelites need to keep the law in order to not be punished by God? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so then why were they punished by God for disobeying the law, and them getting put in slavery? Then why?
Good question. Because we at that time were under a covenant of works, specifically saying.
Hold on, wait. It's so done. Terrence, transatlantic slave trade start, brother.
So maybe I misunderstood your question. What are you saying? Because I don't even understand why that was funny.
His brain is fried.
Terrence, brother, I'm going to try to say this patiently and kindly, because I promise you, I think you're maybe intelligent enough to ascertain what I'm saying. Okay, you as a Christian believe that Jesus fulfilled the law on Calvary, and we are no longer obligated to adhere to the law of Moses. Yes?
No, not at all. No. That's why I asked you for what reason. No, that's not what I believe.
No, we're in the new. No. When did the new covenant start, Terrence?
when Jesus enacted it at the Last Supper.
Okay, so the old covenant is done away with. You said the transatlantic slave trade was under the old covenant.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. That's not what I said. So maybe I'm
Yeah.
not understanding you, because if I said that, that's totally not what I meant. And
Okay,
so
thank you.
Hasad and Deacon Guy,
Thank
if
you.
I said, I'm glad you're reiterating this, because that's not what I meant. So this is why I'm trying to argue for specifics here. Specificity is going to be like pivotal in this conversation.
Okay.
Ask
so
the question again, so I make sure.
Okay,
I
there we
understand
go.
what you're saying.
Me trying to act as a moderator. I'm going to ask the question to you.
Yeah.
You said that we're the Israelites and that the transatlantic slave trade happened because we broke God's laws. So he asked
okay.
you.
So my bad. Okay. So
Yeah.
I was making a direct parallel to the Israelites of the Old Testament. I wasn't talking specifically about West Africans at that point. So my bad.
So why were West Africans put in slavery?
I have no idea.
But you gave the analogy earlier that it's a chastisement from God.
So I only said that to have common ground with you, because I know you agree as well that people who break this, namely the Israelites, when they break God's laws, they get punished. Because I don't want you to say he said this crazy thing when in fact you believe the same thing ultimately. That's what I'm fighting for here. So hear me in the context in which I'm speaking. We both agree the Israelites broke God's commandments, and as a result, he chastised them. He punished them with slavery.
That's not relevant, brother. That's not
relevant. No, it's relevant, because I have to do a due diligence here, because you're going to chop up my stuff.
Do we agree with that? Brother. I'm trying to have an honest conversation. So what you're basically, what you're telling me is you're not being honest then. You're just trying to say things in an attempt to not get sound bites made of you. That's what you just told me.
No. That's partly of it. That's true.
You're perfectly being disingenuous. Thank you.
No, I'm not. No, that's not. See, you're okay.
Now, again, though,
brother. Let me finish. Let me say this. 2 seconds. I'm not being disingenuous.
I gave you a minute, so you already know I don't have a problem giving you 2 seconds. But now I have to go. I have to rewind, because now I don't know if you were lying or not. So
I assure you, I'm not lying. I don't want to be soundbited. That's true. So I'm cognizant of what you're saying.
Terrence, our ancestors, right? The people in West Africa who were taken in slave ships and brought to the Americas, are they the physical descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Yes or no?
I would argue for yes.
Okay, you believe yes. Cool. So why were we put in slavery by white people?
So I don't know the mind of God. So are you asking me why God did it, like through his providence, why he did it? Or are you asking me specifically why the white people did it?
Why were we put in slavery? What did we do to deserve to be put in slavery?
So one thing is always sin. Anytime sin exists in this world, innocent people are byproducts of bad things happening. Some people get raped. They did nothing to deserve it. All these things exist because of sin. Not necessarily the people sin, but sin in general. For example, let me make sure I make you understand what I'm saying. For example, people who put other people in slavery is doing sin. So I don't know specifically why God has done it, because God didn't tell us in the Bible why he did those people like that. But I know the Bible does talk about sin, and because of sin, wicked acts occur. Stronger people do wickedness towards weaker people because of sin.
Okay, well, I want to respond. I want to ask a question predicated upon that. But before I do, I want to ask this. So are the sins, would you say then, when we look at history, are the sins of the people in West Africa greater than the sins of the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Dutch, the English, the French, etc.?
Good question. It's a good question. I would please allow me to answer. It's not going to be long, because Jesus had.
You're asking like that. I haven't been allowing you to answer questions.
No, not you, Hasad. I'm not. I tend to imagine that you might be patient. It's the other guy.
Well, don't try to sow discord and just answer.
I'm not. I can't sow discord, and y'all are one, right? You're good. I'm just a regular person.
Listen, brother. I haven't spoken in about 10 minutes, man. Just go ahead and make your point.
I appreciate you, son. That's what's up.
Make your point.
Yeah. So one time, people came to Jesus. A tower had fallen on some people. They said to him, "Yo, were their sins worse than
Luke
the other people?"
It said your opinion shall all likewise perish. I know.
Exactly. That's my answer. It's not a matter of whose sin is greater. It's the matter of God's sovereignty. He allows certain things to happen. All people are sinners, and whatever God allows occurs.
Okay. And earlier this is crazy, because you were disingenuous earlier, and I
was not.
I honestly feel like you were disingenuous, and you now changed your answer because you realized that it conflicted with your theology.
I'm not being disingenuous at all. I'm just being careful, because I know that you're gonna like shut this up, and I don't want that. I want the people to hear me in the context in which I speak.
I don't know why.
Not
Listen,
at all being disingenuous.
if you have the truth, then the Lord will give you a tongue that none of your adversaries will be able to gainsay or resist. So you shouldn't even be worried about that if you got the truth, my man. Now
That's a fact, but even the truth, like God is sovereign in his acts, but he does tell to be wise nonetheless. Be wise as a serpent.
no problem. So originally I wanted to have a conversation of whether the God of the Bible was a racist. And you do not affirm that the God of the Bible is a racist. You deny that, right?
Yeah, I definitely deny it.
Okay, so I would like to take a look at the definition of racist, just for clarity, so we know we're not addressing something that is not, not the definition. So let's pull up the definition of racist. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so the definition of racist is the belief that one group or race is superior to another, predicated upon their membership of one race. Do you agree with that definition?
Yes, I certainly do.
Okay, so you agree that saying that one race, like for example, if I said white people are superior to black people, that is a racist statement.
Absolutely.
Okay, if I said white people can enslave black people, but white people cannot enslave each other, is that a racist statement?
Absolutely.
Okay, if I said this is a whites only congregation and black people cannot enter in, is that a racist statement?
Yes.
Okay, if I said white people can get 0 interest loans, but black people, they must get 100% interest loans, is that a racist practice?
Yes.
Thank you. So now let's go with the first one. This is Leviticus chapter 25. Deacon, are you still listening, my brother?
Snap, yo.
Deacon? Deep. All right, so let's just read this first one. Leviticus 25:1.
God is really good. Look at that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. Leviticus 25:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying. So I just want to get some context. We both can agree that this is God speaking, yes?
Yes.
Okay, now I want to go down to verse 44. Now, I'm not trying to play a game, but I just want to establish in verse 1, this is God speaking, right?
Sure.
Now, look what he says in verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids. We agree a bondman and a bondmaid is a slave man and a slave woman.
Correct.
Thank you. So God said both your slave men and slave women, which you shall have. So he permitted it, yes?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall you buy bondmen and bondmaids. So yes or no, did God tell the Israelites that they can enslave the heathen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But not each other, for sure.
Okay. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall you buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you. So you can pass these slaves down to your kids. Okay. To inherit them for a possession, they shall be your bondmen forever. You can enslave these human beings in perpetuity. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. But over your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. So do you agree then when he says, but your brethren?
Yeah, I just quoted that. Yes.
Right. So when he says, okay, so when he says your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor, that he's saying that you cannot enslave your fellow Israelite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you just said earlier that if I said white people can enslave black people, but cannot enslave each other, that is a racist statement. You did say that.
Absolutely,
Okay.
because the two contexts are different. Yes, absolutely.
So God said the Israelites can enslave other groups of people, but not themselves.
Absolutely.
Thank
you. How
you.
do I harmonize that?
Yeah. So God is a racist.
No, he's not.
Okay, is Israel a race?
Yes.
Okay, are the Girgashites a race?
Yes, but let me make.
Hold on, I'm almost done.
Sorry. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the Israelites who are a race can enslave the Girgashites who are a race, but they cannot enslave another Israelite. Yes?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's just do this really quick. Watch this. This will be the last thing, and I promise I'm going to let you respond.
No, I'm going to practice patience as well and let you talk. Sorry.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. So let's take a look. Let's just do this real quick, right? It's okay to enslave blacks, but not. Is this right here a racist statement?
Hold on, let me get back to your page.
Right here, at what I've typed out, is this a racist?
Sorry, I had to change my page to do some work. Is it okay to blacks What now? Is it okay to enslave blacks but not whites?
Is that racist right there?
Yes, in a certain context, absolutely.
Okay. Let's do this now. It's okay to.
Are you listening to what I said though?
Yes, I did. Now let's do this. It's okay to enslave Girgashites, but not Israelites. Is this a racist statement?
Yes, in a certain context.
Okay, cool. And who made that statement in Leviticus 25?
God did.
Cool. Thank you. Respond.
I said God did. I'm sorry.
I heard you. I said respond, brother.
Oh, my bad. I'm doing two things at once. So yeah. If you remember, before you even read that scriptures, I quoted it because I didn't know where you're going, but obviously there's a certain context in which God said to the Israelites at a certain time, you can have slaves. Well, first, before I even go there, I wanted to make a differentiation between chattel slavery and the slavery of the Bible. And I'm sure you would agree, chattel slavery and the slavery that the Israelites were practiced during the Torah was completely different. That being said,
what do you mean?
In the Bible, it was told that we shouldn't kidnap. 1 second. You need something? No, it's okay. You need something? Amy. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, did you need something?
No.
Okay. So, sorry, forgive me. What did I just say?
So you said that chattel slavery and the slavery in the Bible is not.
Yeah. Sorry, thanks. So yeah, first, that's the first thing I would do. I would make a distinction between the chattel slavery, specifically because of the verse in the Bible that talks about we shouldn't kidnap people.
Can we just read the definition of chattel slavery just so we can make sure we know what we're talking about?
Absolutely. But before I even read the definition, but you said I can respond.
Okay, I promise you I'm gonna let you respond, but you just made a statement and
because it was my time to talk. But so I guess I could finish my conversation.
I'm literally just gonna read the definition and then I'm gonna let you respond.
Okay.
So the chattel slavery is the system which allowed people considered legal property to be bought and sold and owned forever.
Absolutely.
That's what chattel slavery is. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
In the context of chattel slavery too, you had people, and correct me if I'm wrong, yes or no, were people kidnapping people?
During chattel slavery?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely, I agree. The Bible warns against that in the law. And so my point, again, just off in the beginning, there's a distinction between Israelites kidnapping people. We're not allowed to do that. We are allowed to have slaves because slaves is an old institution. It always existed. Chattel slavery came in and started robbing people, kidnapping people, doing all kinds of things, degrading things to them. God never said to do that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, there's different dispensations in which God worked differently. So with regard to the text you're reading, God in fact did say it. I anticipated that. I said, God told the Israelites, you can have slaves, just don't enslave your brothers. He also said again, do not go kidnapping people. So you're not allowed to go kidnap people and make them your slaves. Also, you see later on, as time went on, Israelites weren't allowed to have slaves. So again, in which context are you talking? You can't throw out a verse and just have that indiscriminately mean the same thing every time in every dispensation. The Bible simply doesn't allow for that.
All right. Are you done? May I respond?
Yes, sir. I'm done. But are you listening to? Are you hearing to listen, or are you trying to respond?
Well, I heard everything that you said, and I want to make sure that I didn't say anything as you were talking, so that I could properly assess what you were saying. So you made a grave error. You are now trying to add kidnapping as a stipulation of chattel slavery. That's simply not true. Again, per definition of chattel slavery, let's just bring it up one more time. This is the definition of chattel slavery: the system which allows people to be considered legal property, to be bought and sold and owned forever. In Leviticus 25, were the slaves of the Israelites that are heathens, were they allowed to be bought, be considered property, and owned forever?
Absolutely. Were they allowed to be kidnapped?
Well, that's not the point. Okay, did we read kidnapping in the definition of chattel slavery? Yes or no?
No, I have to ask that because here's why. Stop. I'm making a distinction between.
Brother.
No. You said I could finish, right? Please.
Yes or no?
I want you to practice the same patience.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Is kidnapping in the definition of chattel slavery? No, so stop introducing kidnapping because it's not.
I have to introduce kidnapping because it occurred in chattel slavery.
You have to try to deviate from the point. The point is,
what is the point of being a Bible student if you're not going to be honest with the Bible, bro?
I am being honest with the Bible.
No, you're not, because kidnapping really did happen. The Israelites were told not to kidnap.
That's not the point, brother. We're not talking about kidnapping. We're talking about slavery. You don't have to kidnap someone to make them a slave. And you don't
I agree, but
you don't have to kidnap somebody for them to be put in chattel slavery. That's why we read the definition of chattel slavery, and the word kidnap does not appear. So now,
So
now God allowed, regardless of whatever dispensation it was in, God allowed at one point in time the Israelites to put people in slavery. Yes.
Yeah, I already agreed to that way before you said anything.
So
yes.
if that is racist, are you then saying at one point God was a racist?
No, I'm saying it in the context in which I spoke. That's again specificity. I already said that from the very jump.
If it's racist to own people as slaves, and God allowed people to own other people as slaves, how is that not racist? I don't understand that.
So I see that. I see that. So I'm going to do some due diligence and trying to make you understand as best as I can. Using an analogy, please follow me. If you don't understand, I failed, and that's fine because I'm not that smart. Jesus says, if you call your brother a fool, you're in danger of the judgment. Are you familiar with the passage?
Matthew 5, and I think like 23, something like that.
Matthew 5, correct. If I call you a fool in a certain context whereby we're joking, like, yo, son, you're a fool, you wow, is that sin?
Nope.
Exactly. You understand context. So you're very smart. I see that. That's what I'm arguing for. There are certain contexts in which definitions change and definitions apply that may not apply at another time, just like you yourself described just now.
Right. So what's the context of a slave in Leviticus 25? What type of slave were they?
It doesn't matter. They were slaves. But my point was that didn't carry throughout the whole time.
That's not okay.
The better question would be for you to ask this: how is God not a racist in that time versus not a racist in another time? That would be the more appropriate question.
It's not because we're okay. Does God's character ever change?
No.
Okay. Is racism a character flaw?
In God or in people? In people, yes.
Okay. So God was a racist.
No. Again, you just said.
Does God do racist things?
Okay, so this is a good question here. So,
yes or no?
Well, again, you have to define what do you mean. So
you already established, brother. We've already
you're lopsided, bro.
We've already established. Listen to me.
My aim in this conversation, bro. Let me just say this, and I'll let you talk. I'll give you 5 minutes if you just let me say this.
We've already established by what parameters we're using for the definition.
No, you have not actually. You have not described any parameters.
We literally at the beginning of this, I read a definition of racist and asked you, do you agree with the definition? And you emphatically said yes.
Yes, but now we're talking about
I gave you a series of questions of would this be racist? Would that be racist? Would this be racist? You said yes. Those are the parameters that.
Well, let me define what I mean. Let me show you using God because we're talking about God now, Hasad.
That's not relevant.
It is relevant because the point is God. The topic is God.
It doesn't matter.
Bro, I'll give you 5 minutes. Let me just say a 30-second thing.
If you agree to those parameters, that those are racist examples, and I show God exemplifying those exact same traits, then by your own parameters that you agreed to and set up, that would make God a racist. You now see the
that's not. No, you're not seeing my point, bro. Listen, let me show you something. And again, just in the same way you just agreed, I'm going to show you now, showing that God can do something that we are not allowed to do. Proving my point.
That's not relevant. I didn't ask you.
It's very relevant because you're being lopsided. Let me just finish. You can't hold one truth at the expense of another. You got to harmonize both truths.
You keep building up straw man, bro.
No, it's not a straw man, bro. It's trying to.
I never.
You talk about parameters, but you're not setting equal parameters. Here's what I mean.
It's not about me being allowed to do it or not. That's not.
Can I finish?
You can, but you got to understand.
The contention here is not necessarily what's racist.
Allowed. It's not about what's allowed.
Right. It's about.
I understand. Like for example, like we're not allowed to do anything on the Sabbath. God can do what He wants on the Sabbath because the Sabbath was made for man. That's
correct.
Not exactly, but that's not relevant to the conversation.
It's very much relevant. Here's why. Let me show you why, please. Let me just show you why. Don't assume that you're not gonna know what I'm gonna say.
I don't need to know what you're going to say because what you're getting ready to say is not going to be in response to what I just said.
It's going to be very apropos to what you're saying because it doesn't make you're putting yourself in parameters that I'm not in. That's the thing. You're lopsided. You're not even seeing that. You're in a bubble. Outside of that bubble is the whole world. You're not actually putting. This is logic. First law of logic is the second law of logic is the law of non-contradiction. You're contradicting yourself all over the place because you're not allowing for a holistic picture. Here's what I mean specifically, and you kind of delved into it just now. God said, do not kill. We both agree that's wrong, correct?
No.
I'm sorry, murder. Let me be very specific. Do not murder.
Okay.
Thank you. We agree that's wrong, correct?
Murder is, yeah.
Absolutely. God said in the book of Acts, rather Peter, God speaking, was it the third person? Give me a second. This is all from my mind, so I don't have the scriptures in front of me. No, actually, it says there that God ordained for Jesus's murder, or to put it in even better, using the Old Testament, Isaiah 53. It says God put the Son to death. It pleased the Father to crush the Son. The context there is the death of Jesus Christ. We both agree that there are things that God can do that would not be sin. Now, the reason why I use that as a launching pad, as it were, is because I'm trying to show you specific context. You're asking me, is God a racist? Using the parameters that you define for men that we both agree that men can't do. Well said, men can't do that. However, God's not a racist because God exists outside of those parameters. He can put Jesus to death and do what he did, but you can't. Do you see? You even said it yourself.
Murder is a action.
I want 2 more seconds. I wasn't done. I was a pause. I was like a semicolon.
Mm-hmm.
You yourself agreed that if in the context in which Jesus said, if you call your brother a fool, that is a bad thing. That's sin. However, if you and I were wilding out and just joking around, and in that context, that's not sin. We both understand context. You're just not allowing for it when I'm answering your question, because that's not what you want to hear. But these things exist simultaneously. They're not opposed to one another.
Okay, you done?
Yes, sir, I'm done.
Okay, so these are not equivalences, and I'm going to show you how. An example of murder, an example of obeying the Sabbath. These are legal requirements that certain men are bound to. God is not bound to that. We're not talking about things that are legally binding. We're talking about traits. Do you understand that, Terrence?
I do, but traits. What's the distinction between the two?
For example, one trait of God is that he's kind. Yes?
Absolutely.
And he's loving. Yes?
Indeed.
Okay, to be a racist is also a trait. Now, how can we look at God's traits of loving and kindness? We can read them in the Bible. How can we look at God's trait of being swift to judge? We can read about it in the Bible. So how would we know whether or not God is a racist or not? If that's a trait as well, you read it in the Bible. That's what you do. So when we read in the Bible about things that you agree are racist, and then we see God is the one who was okaying, putting the stamp on these things. Mm-hmm. You are now trying to play some type of sick game and make it act, well, yeah, it's racist, but when it's God who does it, it's not racist. No. Because the problem is you're associating racist with wrong. That's the problem what you're doing. It's not about wrong or right. It's about what did God do? Because if he did it, then can you agree it's right?
Absolutely.
Okay, like for example, God.
That's what I'm arguing for. Ultimately, yes.
For example, God killed Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's right. So it's not murder. He didn't murder Jesus.
That's my point. Yeah, I think we're paralleling now. But God, continue.
Murder is an unlawful killing.
Mm-hmm.
It's Correct. Not unlawful for God to kill anyone or anything.
Correct.
So it's not murder. So you saying well, God did that, it's racist. The problem is you're associating it with wrong. That's the moment you do that, then you set up a roadblock in your mind.
So I think you just actually, I want you to revisit this conversation later.
I just allowed you to talk. Stop doing that.
No, I didn't know you were done. My bad. Sorry.
No, I'm not done. So you played a game with the racist one. Okay, that's fine. Now let's go to another example.
Before we go there, I just want you to say, we'll look at this later. You actually said what I just said. Ultimately, that was my point. But continue. Sorry.
No, it's not your point, because
you're
equivalating wrong with racism, and it's not. Those are not things that are legally binding to a human being, and traits of God are not the same thing.
But that's literally, quite frankly, what I said. Almost verbatim. Okay, we'll look at the video later, but continue. Sorry, continue.
That's fine.
That's precisely what I said, though.
In Deuteronomy 23, God tells the Israelites. Let's just read it. God tells the Israelites in Deuteronomy 23 that you shall not lend upon usury to your brother, interest, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. But unto a stranger you may lend upon usury. You agreed that telling a white person, having a bank, an institution, this is institutional racism, having a bank that gave low interest loans to white people exclusively and high interest loans to black people exclusively is a racist practice. Yes?
Are you asking me a question now?
You said that, didn't you?
I'm sorry, what now?
Did you say that if there was a bank that gave low interest loans to white people and high interest loans to black people on purpose, that it would be racist?
Yes, sir.
And God said that is okay.
In that context, absolutely, yes. Okay,
so in this context, God approved and okayed racism.
Yeah, you know what? Yes.
Cool. Thank you. So God's okay with at least at one point in time, God was okay with racist, and he actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say just one point in time. I would say different times. Absolutely.
At different times,
yeah.
God was racist and okayed racism.
So I'm
Yes or
only
no?
making one simply distinction here because I think you're saying precisely what I'm saying. The only distinction I would make is that when it comes to God, and you yourself said it, but I'll say it again from my perspective. When God does it, it's not wrong. Case in point, God brought about as per judgment the Babylonians to enslave and murder and kill the. Well, let me finish. To kill the Israelites. That was a wicked thing. In fact, how do I know? God says he was going to punish them. The same people he brought about as a judgment, he was going to punish them. My point in saying all that, when God does something that we might consider evil, God's not evil.
But see,
You
that's the
yourself said
problem.
that.
See?
I'm sorry, what now? I
Race,
wish I could just finish.
again, you're trying to speak for me. I don't believe racist to be a racist is
I
wrong.
know that's what I'm saying. I literally said, if you, I don't think you're listening to me. I think you're waiting to respond. If you actually listen, you would see how much we actually agree here. The only distinction is I'm making a distinction between the action itself being evil. I'm calling the evil the act evil. You're not. That's the only distinction because we both end up at the same end conclusion, namely, it's not wrong when God does it. That's the end conclusion. The means by which that occurs, I'm calling it evil. You're saying it's not. That's the only distinction so far as I'm hearing you. But I don't think you're listening to me.
Okay, so not talking from God's perspective, I am listening to you for the record. So not talking from God's perspective, you believe that God okayed the Israelites. He, in the laws of God, the instructions of God. So the word Torah, instructions. He instructed his people to perpetuate evil.
No, not at all.
Okay, did he instruct his people that it's okay to enslave people?
Right, and I'm not calling that evil in that instance. Yes.
But you just did.
No, I didn't. I said context. So again, I don't think you're listening to me.
I am listening, brother.
So are you really?
I understand. So I understand what you're saying is, well, when God does it, it's not evil, but it's not about him doing it. I'm not talking about us carrying it out.
Right.
If we're carrying out something that God did, it's not wrong, is what you're saying, right?
In certain contexts. For example, here's what I mean.
But again, I'm not talking about right or wrong. I'm talking about racist. Racism is a trait.
Well, yeah, well, racism is right. When you talk about racism, you talk about a moralistic act or a morality act.
Right.
So it's a trait.
So then you admit that at least at different dispensations, God okayed and held to these beliefs, these racist beliefs.
I would not call them racist in some instances, but that's the only distinction we're making so far.
Okay. The word racist is let's just
so I think you yourself said that it's not bad, correct? Because I don't want to. So it's not even wise for us to.
It's starting to get weird now because you're double and triple talking.
No, it's getting weird because I'm agreeing with some of the things that you want me to not agree with, and I would rather talk about the stuff we disagree. That part we agree on. The end conclusion of that is it's not wrong for God to do something like this.
I'm not talking about it being wrong. I'm talking about
it being it's a moral act. I'm so confused by you, bro.
I'm talking about whether it's racist. It's a part of one's morality, is what I mean. So
okay.
Here's another definition of racist. Characterized by showing prejudice or discrimination against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. Okay. So when you discriminate or have a practice of discrimination or prejudice towards one group, right, that's racist.
So
God, hold on.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me know when you're done. Just say done, and I'll.
God in Deuteronomy 23 had an institution set up where the Israelites cannot lend on, like they have to have 0% interest to their own people, but they can have as high interest as they want on other people. Is that discrimination towards another group of people on the sole membership of their particular race?
Absolutely, yes. And
God made that statement, and that is literally taking God and the definition of racist and going like this, isn't it?
No, that's what you're doing. It's called conflating. So that's my point.
How is that conflating? I'm reading the definition and reading it in the Bible.
So again, this is what. Let me know if you're done because I don't want to jump down your throat. I want to practice patience here.
Pause, yeah, but I mean, I don't understand how you.
The reason why I'm asking you to let me know you're done because I'm looking at a different screen and I can't see your face. So just let me know when you're done, and I'll talk when you're done.
I'm done. Go ahead. I would like you to explain I would like you to explain with the definition that I read and how you agree that Deuteronomy 23 is racist. How God is not a racist when He told people that.
Yeah, because we both agree that God is not a racist whenever He does what He told people.
No, we didn't agree to that.
Well, I'm sorry. Am I my turn to talk, or is it your turn?
But you just told a lie. I mean, I didn't agree to that.
So if I told a lie, forgive me. But let me go back just a little bit. I thought we both agree that you said when God does something that He tells us, let's say like murder. If we committed murder, or even your example, let me use your example. The Sabbath was made for man. If man disobeys that, it's wrong. But if God disobeys it, it's not wrong.
Again, I do.
Wait. I'm just saying. Do we agree there?
Yes, but
Okay.
I don't agree. Racism is wrong, so you can't equate
Yeah,
wrong.
I know
with racism
that.
because it's not the same.
So, can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead, but you
Okay,
can't
good.
lie on me. Go ahead.
No, if I lied, please correct me, and then I'll repent when
Okay,
necessary.
so
But
I've corrected you now. Go ahead.
okay, good. Let me finish too. A servant of the Lord must not strive, but be apt to teach and be patient. So let's practice that. The reason why I already said we agreed on the end conclusion. That is the meat and potatoes there. The distinction between you and I now, the means by which the end comes. I'm making a distinction between the act being evil in a certain context, and you're not. You're just conflating the two. You're asking me now, how is that conflating the two? Simple as I can put it. When God tells his people to do a certain thing and they obey, that's not wrong because
You're
God
having
could never
two.
sin.
You're having
Yo,
two.
son, is it my turn or what? You asked me to tell you a question.
Brother, you can't do that, bro. I've
Do
tried.
what, bro? You just told me to give my part. Like, yo, you gonna allow me to talk or not, son? Like, come
Your
on.
time now, brother. Stop talking about things that I'm not talking about. For the record, again, maybe now that I say it a third time, you might understand it.
No, I don't think you understand. Let me finish. No, first it's my turn. Yeah.
Terrence, you might be like, you know what? My bad. After you hear this,
Okay.
I'm not talking about right and wrong.
You said morality. Morality deals with right and wrong.
Terrence, I'm agreeing that when God tells us to do something, it's not wrong. It's right because God doesn't do wrong.
Yeah, we agree on that. Yeah, we agree on that.
Oh, that's not the conversation. The conversation is, does it fit with the definition of racist? Yes or no? That's the conversation.
Okay.
Stop talking about right and wrong. That's not what we're talking about.
So let me ask you this question.
Whether or not it fits the definition and criteria of racism.
So Hasad, this is not going to do you any good if you pigeonhole, like if you just ask somebody to, because you yourself won't agree. Let me finish. I'm looking at the screen now. I see you exasperated. Don't be.
I'm listening. I'm not going to interrupt you, but it's
Thank you. Let's see if that's true. So it's not good or wise or even helpful to your side to pigeonhole people, because I'm telling you, so far we agree. The meat and potatoes here, we agree. The means by which I come to the conclusion that you already come to is ultimately meaningless. But for the sake of the argument, we agree. I have to answer the way in which I'm responding, because I need to make myself, whether you agree or not, I need to give an appropriate response as best as I know how. I don't want to be caricaturized. So this is why I'm doing so much due diligence in my response. I don't even mean to be long-winded. I like to be like as abrupt as I can, but I'm fearful that you're going to, first of all, cut me off, and then secondly, say something I don't mean by when I say something. So if I could answer your question quickly, and please, for the sake of the argument, for our conversation, and as well as the people listening, what exactly is your question? And I'll try to be as brief as I can.
Okay. I'll make it very simple. Brother.
Okay.
The definition of racist is characterized by or showing prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism against a person or a people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. You agree with this definition, brother?
I do.
Okay. In Deuteronomy chapter 23, for example, this is God speaking, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And he said in verse 19, thou, talking to the Israelites, shall not lend upon usury to thy brethren. So God says it's illegal to give to lend people and give them an interest rate, to give them a loan on it with interest.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Usury of money, whether it be money or victuals or anything that is lent upon usury. They're not allowed to loan upon interest to their brother. Yes.
Correct.
Their fellow Israelites, same member of that particular ethnic group.
Yeah, they're not allowed to do interest. Correct.
All right. But unto a stranger, a non-Israelite. Yes.
You can. Correct.
Okay. So on this group of people, you cannot. But on that group of people, you can. Yes.
Right. That's absolutely right. Yes.
All right. So now here's the question. Is that showing prejudice or discrimination against a person or people on the basis or membership of a particular racial or ethnic group? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And God is the one that made that statement.
Absolutely.
So God made a statement that fits the definition and criteria of racist.
Correct.
So now here's the question. With that all in mind, Terrence, how is God not a racist?
The same way you just said it before, because God can't sin. So I don't know how else to make sense of that, because
Oh my God,
you said God can't do any wrong.
brother.
So let me finish. You asked me a question,
You just
please.
did it again. This is the 4th time you did it again, brher. You did it again.
Because listen, let me finish.
You did it again.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure I
didn't
did.
say don't do it again. You did it again. Hey,
What,
Deacon, hey,
what?
listen, you know what you did when you did what you did?
Nah, son, you lost me. What you talking about?
You know what he did when he did what he did.
Oh,
I mean,
snap,
I don't
son.
know, brother. It's not sin. You need to stop even addressing that, because I agree it's not sin. I agree
Right.
it's not wrong. That's not what we're talking about, brother. The
So-
problem in here, I'm gonna say this thing. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
The roadblock you keep running into is associating racism with sin and associating racism with wrong. They're not. They're obviously not one and the same, because God does not tell anybody to sin, right?
So they are the same. Here's why. Because you said a minute ago, correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe I misunderstood you. You said it's a morality issue. Is that true or not?
It's surrounding someone's morality, like how they their moral compass is what I
Correct.
meant.
Okay. So when you deal with morality, are we dealing with right and wrong, sin and not sin? You correct up, because I don't know what you mean. So
Yes, and for the record,
Okay,
sin.
good.
The definition of sin is the transgression of the law.
correct.
I think-
That's one definition for sure. Yes.
Can I jump in just as the moderator?
Please.
I think what the brother is saying is that that it's not racist. It's racist if we do it, but it's not racist if God does it.
Yeah, I think we agree with that. That's the end conclusion for sure.
No, we don't
Okay.
agree on that.
Okay. Well, but that's fine. So God allows His chosen people to be racist.
Yes, if you want to pigeonhole the definition, yes, I would say yes. God allows the people to do what He specifically just said. In that context, there to exact interest from
And
everybody else.
it's not wrong. And it's not wrong for God's holy people to do racist things.
In that specific context, yes, that
Okay.
didn't carry over throughout the whole time.
So we gotta conclude this and probably pick it up on another time, because I gotta go live on my channel.
So one last thing, is that right?
Go ahead.
Okay, and that God, that God that we're reading about in here, and that's allowing these racist things, Jesus is a part of that God, right?
Jesus is that God.
Jesus is that God. So Jesus allows people to do racist things.
So again, to go back what Deacon said, I think he said it very well.
Does he? Yes or no?
No, because
What?
when
You just said it. What? Go ahead.
no, I'm going to repeat what Deacon said, because I fully agree with what he said. Incidentally, it's funny. God can't do evil. So if God says it, for example, if you were to exact, I don't know, if you were to do something bad against your brother, that would be bad. But if God told you, let's say, do something, you better do it, and then it wouldn't be sin because God told you to do it. That's my point, and that's what Deacon just said, and that's simply what I'm saying. The only thing you're doing, I've said, is conflating the two, making it sin every time. It's not sin every time.
Talking about, I'm going even with your definition now. You didn't
Okay.
maybe listen. You're saying that it's not God doing racist things, that He's allowing the Israelites to do racist things. Yes.
No, I'm saying God can't do anything racist, and He can't tell us. So
God
when
can't
He
do anything racist. Okay.
Right.
God
No,
can't
no,
do
let me finish. I didn't finish. I'm saying when
No,
God
wait.
tells us to do it, it's no longer a racist thing.
But
It's
when
only
we do it,
righteous.
it's a racist thing. Hold on. When we do it, it's a racist thing, though, isn't it?
No, hear me again. When people do wrong,
I
when
ain't gonna lie,
people
bro.
do
Like
wrong,
that, brother, that's the dumbest thing and I say that it's a euphemism. That's the dumbest thing. That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Seriously. And I've heard some stupid stuff, brother.
oh, but keep listening. You probably heard worse, but hear me again though. When people do it, it's wrong. When God tells us to do it, it's no longer sin. That's my argument. And I'm really like interested here too, because I think Deacon picks up on my point. We're ending up at the same end conclusions.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Because
we're
the
not.
point is, God can't sin. The point is, when God told the Israelites to do a certain thing, He literally told them to do it, and it was right for them to do it. That's the greater point.
No, it's not.
silly and stupid for us to talk about, is this particular thing a sin?
I'm not talking about if it's a sin. I didn't bring up the word sin.
You said morality, and when I hear morality, that's
Is it
sin.
racist? Is what I asked.
Okay, racist is a sin.
Okay. Racism is a sin,
Yeah.
But the Israelites can do things that by definition are racist.
When God tells them to do it, it's not sin. That's my point.
But it's not.
Wait. Okay. So if we break the Sabbath, it's a sin. But if God says, "Hey, deacon, go break the Sabbath," it's not a sin.
That's a nonsensical question, because God never told us to do a sin.
But you're saying that it's a sin unless God tells us to do it.
Correct.
Okay, watch this, Terrence.
Yes.
Is a white person calling a black person the N-word racist?
It depends on the context in which he says it.
If they say, "I hate you, you filthy, disgusting N-word."
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
definitely sin. Yeah, for sure.
It's racist?
For sure.
Hypothetically, what if God commanded every single white person on the earth to go up to a black person, say, I hate you, you filthy, disgusting N-word? Would it be racist then?
Because
Well, no.
again,
Yes
that's
or no?
nonsensical because that's never happened. God never
Okay, but
tells us
would
to
it?
sin.
Because God, hold on, your criteria.
We could only use questions that
Your
only
criteria for it no longer being racist is when God okays it. So, hypothetically, if every white person
hypothetically is wrong, bro. This is the
man,
most I
just
we're talking
answer the
about. You can't
question.
just come and
Just
make up
answer the
stuff in his
question.
mind. Like, no, that's sin.
Man,
That's wrong.
see, you answered
Unless
it.
he said it, you can't just make up stuff.
You
Everybody's
answered it
going to be
when
held
Deacon.
accountable for the
You
words they
answered
say.
it
That's stupid.
partially when Deacon said it.
What?
Well, you won't answer it now. So you're saying the criteria by which it's no longer racist is if God commands it or allows it. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if God allowed, if he told all white people, go call these black people a bunch of filthy, disgusting N-words, yes or no? Answer with a yes or no question.
Nonsensical question because it never happened.
Answer the question with a yes or
I can't
no.
answer a question that never existed.
It's a hypothetical question predicated upon
When
what
we're
you've
talking
been
about the Most High, I
saying
want to
for
be
an
careful because
17-minute dialogue.
I'm going to be held accountable. I can't make up stuff like, no, I'm not. That's not me.
You know it's going to look bad. Everybody.
No, I respect God too much. I'm sorry.
Okay, so again, you agree that calling a black person a filthy, disgusting N-word is a racist statement.
Absolutely.
But what if God commanded it, man?
What if he didn't? And
What if he did? What if he? Watch this. You asked me a question. What if he didn't?
Well, you asked me first. My response is he didn't actually.
Okay.
Well, there is a case where he said that all the nations besides the Israelites are like spittle.
He said what now?
All the nations besides the Israelites are like spit, like a loogie. You spit.
Oh yeah. He says many things. He called them the apple of his eyes. He said he
said all the nations outside of the Israelites are a racial slur.
He said worse things than that. He called them pigs in other places. So I agree. But I'm simply saying in response to Hasad's question, he didn't tell every white person to call us niggas.
Okay, fine. Throw it out there. Who cares? Whatever. If I told my son, son, when you get the chance, go kill every white person, is that racist?
Yes, worse racist and murder too.
Okay, cool. So did God not say in Deuteronomy chapter 20? Let's see.
He told him in a lot of places, go eradicate all kinds of people.
When you get rest, when you finally get rest, blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. He said that, right?
Yeah, many different places. It wasn't just the Amalekites. Yes, go ahead.
Is that racist?
No.
This is insane. So ethnic cleansing is not racist.
When you do it, yes. When God commands this thing, it's not sin or wrong. And that's
this
the
is
only
why
thing.
Young black people do not take Christianity seriously.
No, get that scripture. God commands no man to sin.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Sirach
that's
15.
my point. God doesn't command people to sin.
No, you said it's a sin if we do it, but then he told us to go do it to the Canaanites.
So hear me again. I said, if God tells you to do something,
it's no longer sin no more.
Right.
Right. If you do it, take it upon yourself, like in Hasad's example, if he tell his son to do X, Y, and Z, that's sin. He's not God. God can't sin. God never sins.
But he just tells people to sin.
No, if he tells them to sin,
the moment he says it, it's no longer sin, is what he's
right,
saying.
if God commands you to do something, God is the author of what's right and wrong. God says, "Thou shalt not do." He's the maker of the law. He gets.
All right, I got a question. Let's end it on this because he said we're like the KKK because we teach another Jesus and we teach that Jesus isn't God. Who is the God of Jesus Christ?
So what now?
Who is the God of Jesus Christ?
The God of Jesus Christ is the triune God of the scriptures, the Holy Spirit, the Father, of whom he's part of.
God, he's his own God?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, have a good night, brother. Jesus Christ, man. The God of Jesus Christ is the triune God.
He is part of the triune God, man.
Oh man, let's end this by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. We do so by Shema.